Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're here to celebrate. I remember a few weeks ago when Susan approached me to have this celebration of life. I remember talking to Susan. I'm like, Susan, you already went through the grieving stage of losing your mom and the burial. Do you want to go through this again? And her answer was, yes, this is a celebration. And that's what we are doing here today. We are celebrating. This is a celebration of life. And on behalf of the Resident Church, on behalf of the family, and I would like to thank all of you for joining and for showing your support. I would like to thank you for coming, despite the weather conditions. Those of you that travel from far, it is an honor for us to have you here, and I'm sure the family will feel embraced and loved by your presence. And if you are visiting with us for the first time, my name is Roger Estevez. I'm honored to be the pastor here at this church, at the Resident Church. And I would like to invite you, all of you, after the service, to the celebration of life, to join us. We'll have some snacks in the fellowship room. Feel free to stay and feel free to fellowship with one another. If you need to go to the washrooms, again, for those of you that are here for the first time, they're on my left hand. There's a hallway there, and then you'll find the washrooms over there. This is a celebration of life, nonetheless. It's a religious service, so I would like to invite you just to bow your heads and let's start with prayer. Gracious Father, we thank you, Lord, for bringing us here today. In one way or another, we all were part of Anne's life, and somehow Anne Panner was part of our lives, and that's why we're here today. We want to show our love, our appreciation for the impact she had with us and in us. And so, Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we had to spend time with her. I pray, Lord, that you may be with us, that you may celebrate this moment with us. And if there's anyone else coming, Lord, bring them here safely. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You will see the schedule of the service. You probably received a bulletin, so I'm not going to go through that again. Usually pastors are the last ones to come to the front. Somehow today, I'm the first one, and that's okay. I usually prefer to be one of the last ones. That gives me a feel of the group and the emotions. And I have to say that I cry very easily. I can be at home, I can watch a commercial and start crying with a commercial. So that is me. So I'm going to try to set the tone, okay? We're here to celebrate. So bear with me and please no tears, all right? No tears. If you don't know, my family and I, we had the honor and the privilege. It was a blessing to live for 1 year with Susan's family. And so for that year, we feel like we became part of the family. And we got to know Nana Ann quite well. And there is a story that I'd like to share with you that I think it reflects Nana Ann. It's the story of 3 guys that died. Right? Not a good way to start. But it's the story of 3 friends that died in a car accident and they went to heaven. Now when they get to heaven, there is an orientation happening. Okay? And so you have Peter calling these 3 gentlemen, sitting down with them, and he's giving them some instructions, and then asks them, when you are in your casket, and your friends and family are around you mourning, what would you like to hear them say about you? That was the question. Now, the first gentleman, the first friend says, well, I would like to hear them say that I was a good doctor and a great family man. The second one came, I would like to hear that I was a wonderful husband. And as a school teacher, I made an impact on many children. The last guy says, well, I would like to hear, look, he's moving! And somehow, I can picture that saying that joke. I can so picture that. I remember another day, we had just moved to the property, and obviously, as you know, her last few years, she had some mobility challenges, right? And so, from time to time, Agnes, where's Agnes? I saw Agnes here today. Right there, Agnes. Okay, from time to time, Agnes would come to the property and just to take Nana Ann out for whatever, And I remember sometimes sometimes I would help her come out of the house so she could be ready to go to the car. And the first time I saw Nan coming out and I approached her, I'll give you a hand, and then I was still trying to get to know her. I looked at her and said, "Man, looking good today." And she kind of pauses, looks at me. I know. Again, that's Nana. You know, it's just such a wonderful lady. Can I share one final story with her? Are you okay with that? All right. As pastors, and I appreciate Pastor Kosovan being here. He's a pastor for the Victoria Church. As preachers, you know that sometimes we can feel excited about our sermons, right? And we can feel the Spirit moving us, and so our sermons, even though might be planned for 20 minutes, sometimes go 40 and 50 minutes, right? Not me, obviously, but many other preachers can do that. So one of the things that we do, one of the tricks that we do, we look at the congregation and we try to see the body language, if the people are still connected with us or not. Nana was a very, very good indicator of when it was time to finish. Because quite often she was sitting on the side, on the corner there. Quite often I used to look at her and I would see her body language kind of moving down and up, and down and up. A few times I felt compelled to rush there because the going down was a little further down than it should have been. Now, two things though. Somehow the balancing challenge for her started right at the beginning of the sermon. So I'm not sure how she handled that, but it started at the beginning of the sermon. But the interesting part is that then during fellowship lunch, I would go around the tables and greet people and talk to them. And she would look at me. "That was a good sermon. That was a good sermon." And I looked at her like, thank you very much. So that's Nana, and these are some of the memories I have of her, and I will cherish them. I'll cherish them forever. I would like to leave a little message, especially to the family. And I think this would be her final message. If you could say that, this could have been her final message. And I'm going to share with you as if she was the one speaking. So bear with me on that. And if you want to read it at home, you'll find in 2 Timothy. Now, Nana is saying, the time of my departure is at hand. It's time for me to go. I have fought the good fight. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I fought not a good fight, but I fought the good fight. The good fight, the one that really matters, the one that has an impact over eternity. I finished the race. I journeyed through this world, going left and right, growing myself into becoming more like Christ. I finished this race, and I have kept the faith. Susan, I have kept the faith. Mike, I have kept the faith. And what faith is that? The faith that Jesus Christ, my Creator, is my Redeemer as well. The faith that Jesus loves me, and He expressed that on the cross. I've kept the faith that despite my imperfections of character and wrong choices, Jesus has covered me with a robe of righteousness. I have kept the faith that one day Jesus will come back and take me home for eternity. And you know, I can still picture that day. The Bible describes that day when Jesus is coming back. And the first ones to be called to join Him in the heavens are the ones that have died in Christ, believing in Christ, having a relationship with Christ. And I can see Nana go up, and she hears her name, and she opens her eyes, and she sees Jesus, and I see the excitement and the joy in her face. And then, after all of those that have passed away are in heaven, then I see the Bible tells that those that are alive will join them. Now I can see Nana looking at Susan. Susan, what took you so long? I can so picture that. I'm sorry, but it's just a thought that comes to my mind. And saying this from a joyful heart. Susan, we finished the race. Mike, we finished the race. Here we are. It's for eternity. But the text doesn't end there. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Family, I've done all of this. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness. I reached it. I achieved it. I am going to receive the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day when I'll see him. But family, beloved ones, I want you to remember that he will not only give these to me or just to me, but also to all who have loved him. And Anne wants to see you again. She wants to be with you for eternity. I believe she died believing that she will be with you for eternity. And I encourage you to believe in that. And I encourage you to develop that relationship with Christ, with God, that you have no doubts that one day you'll spend eternity with her. She has fought the good fight. She has finished the race. She has kept the faith. And she will receive the crown of righteousness. I want to thank you on behalf of my family for allowing us to be part of your family. Thank you.
I'm overwhelmed by all the people that are here. Thank you so much for coming and enjoying this celebration of my mom's life. She lived 95 years. That's an amazing achievement in and of itself. And Scott played such a beautiful medley on the piano. Thank you so much, Scott, for that. And Roger, yes, you are part of our family. So this is Mom's life sketch. And yes, it's a happy occasion. Not many of us get to live for 95 years. That's pretty amazing. Annie Sue Yin Choi was born in 1924 to Yu and Sup Shi in their home in San Francisco, Chinatown. She took us there one time, and we got to see the actual building that she was born in. She was the first of 4 girls in a family of 8 children. Yu Choi was born in San Francisco in 1894. His family were part of the early Chinese wave of immigrants that had come from Guangdong in the middle 1800s. They were merchants coming to support the growing population of the gold rush in California. They traveled frequently between China and the US for business and to maintain a compound in China where Yao had 3 additional wives, or concubines. He was a busy man. Yu's wife was chosen by a matchmaker from a family that was suitable. Mom told me once that not only did she have to come from the right family, but the numbers all had to be auspicious as well. So she arrived in San Francisco in 1918 with a Chinese servant girl, who she promptly freed upon arrival. She had grown up with many servants and was used to being waited on. Life was not what she had expected in the US. Additionally, Yu had proven to be a bit of a playboy and had been cut off from his family's wealth. Life was not easy, and sadly, Suchi passed away at the age of 44. Annie was only 16 years old, and she was expected to care for the other children. Adrian was still a toddler, her youngest sister. The year was 1941, and World War II was in full swing. Mom's brothers were deployed overseas in the Air Force and Navy. Her father was a foreman at the shipyard, while Annie took care of the 3 girls and attended Galileo High School, just a few blocks from Fisherman's Wharf. At 18 years old, Annie started working as a ship riveter to support the war effort. After the war, Annie started nurses training and finished her theoretical training at the top of her class. It all ended for her when she entered into the practical portion of her training, and she decided she couldn't empty bedpans, and she was absolutely horrified at the prospect of finding one of her patients dead. So she became an accountant instead. Completely the opposite. In the 1950s, Clarence Liu had caught Annie's eye and had repeatedly asked her to come to Hawaii where he lived so he could show her around. They were married in 1956 and Michael was born in 1958. Unfortunately, their relationship ended in divorce in 1962. Around this time, Mom had been attending evangelistic meetings held by George Vandeman near Waikiki. Mom started attending church and was encouraged by young Michael to keep attending for those amazing Hawaiian potlucks. As her faith grew, and at the encouragement of her pastor, Mom answered a call to work as an accountant for Oak Haven Sanitarium in Michigan. There, my brother Mike, who was around 4, fell head over heels over Bob, the purchaser in the bakery, and started calling him my dad. When Mike finally had the opportunity to introduce them in the cafeteria, he shouted wildly, "Mom, meet my dad!" Mom initially thought, "Ha, fat chance." He was pretty charming, though, and handsome. However, they decided apart as there was a considerable age difference between them, and interracial couples were not encouraged in those days. Mom moved far away to Henderson, Nevada, where she became a policewoman. She was looking for work in accounting, but they convinced her they needed a woman to go out on calls as they dealt with a number of ladies of the evening. Mom hated this job, but Mike and I thought it was pretty cool to think of Mom as a policewoman. She used to love the cop show Adam 12. Maybe it reminded her of her working days on the police force. It didn't take long for Bob to show up on her doorstep. They were married in 1964. 1 year later, I was about to come along, and after being exposed to the underbelly of life in Las Vegas, they decided that Victoria would be the best place to raise a family. Mom and Dad bought a house in Fairfield and began attending the Victoria Church in 1965. Dad's family was here in Victoria, and they soon settled into life on the island. Tragically, that was not to last long, as my father's life was suddenly cut short in an automobile accident in August of 1967. 2 months later, Clarence also passed away tragically from a heart attack. Mom and Dad had talked about what ifs and had decided that if anything should happen to him, she would move our family out to the country. So Mom's next big move would be to purchase 12 acres and soup, 40 chickens, and a couple of goats, where we lived for the next 12 years. Anne, the city girl, became Anne, the country girl, gardening, canning, baking, and joining the Shirley Women's Institute. It was good country life, but as we grew and Mom went back to work, she felt it best to sell the farm and buy in Victoria again. Mom was working as the chief accountant for Monday Publications, and Mike and I were now both adults. Mom loved living closer to the church and enjoyed hosting church socials and parties. She loved food and friends. Mom also loved traveling. The next decade, Mom traveled as much as possible with friends and family. She enjoyed cruising and took many pictures. Most of them, food pics. We would always ask, "So where are the pictures of your friends or the places you visited?" And she would just giggle. Mom loves food. During this time, Michael married Gail, and they added 2 children to the family, Kai and Talia. Susan married Dave and added 4 more, Gabrielle, Sarita, Isaac, and Sophia. Mom's joy was seeing her grandchildren grow. She was so very proud of all of you. For those of you close to Mom, you knew she was fiercely independent and strong. She managed to live alone until shortly before her 90th birthday, when she decided to sell and move in with Mike. Her 3 remaining years were with me. We were glad to have that time with her. My mom had a very adventurous, long life. She was a steadfast rock in our growing up years. We always had plenty and never, ever went without. She provided a beautiful, peaceful home and raised us well. Well, for the most part. Mike has some stories later. They kind of blow that idea of peaceful. On the side of giving, and for all of us to meet her again with Jesus. She was ready to go and rest beside Dad. For her, this is not goodbye, but see you again soon in the blink of an eye. Thank you.
I will get to the funny bit soon enough. First, I'd like to start by thanking all of you for coming here today to visit and share and honor a wonderful lady, mother, and Nana, friend, all in attendance. Throughout the years as her son, she taught me about life and to try and always see the good in everyone, which she always seemed to do. If someone wronged her, she always forgave them and moved on with the positive aspects of her life. Mom never judged and gave people, including myself, the benefit of the doubt, even when others didn't. And for that, I thank her. She had a quiet, loving way of letting you know when you should rethink whatever it was you were about to do or say, so that really bad mistakes were less likely to happen. I thought long and hard about a few words that describe our mother. loyal, loving, dedicated, honest, feisty, generous, and kind. Mom was a wonderful provider, as Susan had alluded to, for our family as a single parent for most of her life, always managing to somehow make the dollar stretch, and my sister Susan and I are thankful for her hard work, planning, and integrity. Mom's love was in typical Oriental fashion, never effusive, but her actions demonstrated her love in a deep and meaningful way each and every moment of our lives together. Now, as promised, the funny bits. I would like to share a few instances from our relationship that bring a smile to my face and joy to my heart. Here goes. The time we were playing ping pong. In our house in Souk, the game was hotly contested because we all know I'm not competitive. And Mother was not competitive either. So, as the game progressed, I smashed the ping pong ball as hard as I could, hit her squarely between the eyes. At which time she glared at me. And that was, no words were said. And I assured her that that could never happen again because I'm not that good at aim. So the game progressed, the service happened. I wound up, smashed another one, hit her right between the eyes the second time. Without a word, she threw her ping pong bat at me as hard as she could. I turned, it hit me in the middle of the back. I dropped like a shot. I was laughing so hard I was crying. Anyways, that was the first story. How about wrestling? Many of you that knew my mother would never picture her as a wrestler. She was. At the dining room table, we would be wrestling over the last scrap of food on the platter, and we would wrestle so hard we would end up on the floor, laughing and crying. I would let her get that morsel right up to her mouth, and I would hold her there and pull it away and put it in my mouth. That's the second. On to a more serious note. When I was a young lad, I was one of the few people on the planet who could make my mom genuinely angry. On one occasion, in her usual understated manner, she calmly went to the fridge, got a 4-liter container of milk, and dumped it over my head. I deserved it. And after she did it, she said, "Now clean it up." These are all true, by the way. Lastly, on a road trip to California, one of many over the years, in her mid-80s, we were in Northern Oregon, and Mom was peacefully sleeping until she suddenly woke up and exclaimed, "I can't see, it's dark." While driving down I-5, I looked over at her and went, "Mom, you've got your sunglasses on." She took them off and she exclaimed, "That's better, I can see." We laughed for miles down the interstate. In closing, I would like to say that, Mom, you are in a better place. And I'm very thankful that you left us in such a peaceful and gentle way. You will be forever in my heart and soul. And in quiet moments, I will always be able to see your smile and hear your voice. Love you forever, Mom. Rest in peace.
Hi everyone. This is actually the first time I've ever spoken in front of this many people, and it's quite nerve-wracking, but I am still very thankful.
You've got this.
Thanks. I also just wanted to thank you all for coming to support our family. I'm speaking today because I thought, what better way to celebrate her life than to share the loving and happy memories that I have. She was such a wonderful lady, as my dad said, with more love, tenacity, and spunk than anyone would think of a 95-year-old woman. I am forever thankful for the 23 years I got to share with her, learning, loving, and growing. Although we have all been rocked by the departure of our dear Anne, We are here to celebrate her in all her amazing glory. There are innumerable memories, but seeing as there are many that want to share their experiences, I'll limit to just a few. I will always remember that whenever I would see Nana, be at my parents' house or at her house visiting, that she would always demand a hug. And I don't mean just like ask for one. She would be like, you get over here right now and give me a hug. If you're not over here, it's not okay. And that was just something that I always thought was really amazing. And I remember the oatmeal that we'd have as kids when we'd go over to sleep over. I know it's kind of a weird memory, but she always had oatmeal, and it was always really great. Also the red van, which actually is still around, but it being immaculately clean and just the color, and it was amazing. And her bathroom, something I remember was being huge and having a huge tub, and these are all really special memories to me, and I am very thankful for being able to have them. But the one that I will always keep dear to my heart, is that the last thing that I got to say to my Nana before she died was, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Even though tomorrow never came, I see her every day in my heart and in my mind. She will always be my Nana, whom I cherish with all my heart. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
This is number one grandson. Number one son has number one grandson.
I wrote this poem actually a while ago. It was when she was 90. I thought, what would be a great way to give a gift to her? And 90 years old, it was difficult to think of anything to give her. So I wrote this poem for her, and it came from my heart. So that's what I'll do here. Read it again. Unconditional love. To love somebody with no conditions or circumstances. To love completely, regardless of how that person treats you or what they do to you. You love them no matter what. Your love for them is unconditional. When I see into your strong and beautiful eyes, judgment never caresses your beautiful mind. Under any weather, rain, hail, or snow, your love is always given free. Hovering above the clouds is where your heart is set free. I know you will always love me no matter what or who I will be. You showed me something that many people will never get a chance to experience. And for that, I am grateful to be blessed with your presence and grace. For to love unconditionally is to never judge someone's life journey or past disgrace. But to love unconditionally is to see God through another's soul. For we all share this intimate connection through the heavens. You were just taught through your different life lessons. A gift you can see, but truly is one that you showed me. You have lived a long and beautiful life. You are the definition of a strong, loving soul. That is why I'm proud to call you my Nana. Thank you for loving me for exactly who I am. Thank you for loving me even when I couldn't see myself. Thank you for loving me no matter what. For you're a true angel of this world.
I didn't write any speeches. This is going to be at the top of my head, but I really felt that I needed to say a few words. When I met Mike many years ago, I guess it's coming up 40 years, he took me to his mom's house, and I thought, oh my gosh, you're really rich. This house is beautiful. It's this big West Coast home. And when I met Mike's mom, she was loving, accepting, and here I was, a girl who he picked up at a nightclub called The Sting, and I was living 800 kilometers away at the time, and Nana Penner, Nana Ann, Nan Penner, Mom P, all the names we've called her, always accepted and treated me like her own daughter. We had a great relationship all the years we have known each other. There are many things she introduced me to, particularly different foods in my life. I grew up in a very bland Irish household where we had a lot of meat, moose meat and deer meat and fish and potatoes and potatoes and potatoes. And all of a sudden it's like, what is this green vegetable in front of me where you peel it and dip it in mayonnaise and scrape it with your teeth? An artichoke? Well, then she introduced me to artichokes, tofu, cottage cheese roast, a wide variety of foods. And that is what made Nana Penner, Mom P, so special, was her amazing ability to cook up these incredible meals, and at a drop of a hat. We'd phone her up and say, can we come for dinner? We're sort of, we've been so busy, come on over. You could drop in, and there was always food on the table, always. She was always there to help us with the kids whenever we needed a helping hand. Mom P, is it okay if we drop the kids off? We've got a party to go to, or we've got a function to go to. And always either come to our house or we drop the kids off. Always there for us, no matter what. We went on many trips with her, long road trips, had lots of laughs, trips to Mexico. And I'll still remember one of my girlfriends, actually, yesterday I saw her and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's not the bread lady that passed away, is it?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot the story." So our soccer team went over to the BC Provincials, and we decided to hire a bus. And on our way home, we just got off the ferry and the bus broke down. And it's about 9:30. Mike wasn't home at this time, but I knew Nana was home with a van, so she could help transport a group of women to go pick up their cars. And sure enough, I phone her up, "Nana, can you come and pick us up?" And she's like 85 years old. And she's like, "No problem." So she comes to the van. We open the back trunk of her van to put all our gear in. And she's just loaded with bread. So everybody, all my soccer sisters remember her as the lady with the loaves of bread that gave everybody their bread. And our kids even go, "Nana, can you try and get some of the apricot loaf for us? Because that's our favorite." So I have many, many, many fond memories of Aunt P, Nana, Mom P. And she holds a very, very special place in my heart because I lost my parents many years ago, 15 to 20 years ago, and she always was there for me through thick and thin, and I cherish her today and know she's in a better place and is resting peacefully. Thank you.
My friend Anne Penner, my dear friend Anne, it has been such a privilege to be part of her life, a life well lived, a rich life of 95 years. My sincere condolences to the family and all the friends that are here. Our friendship started about 20 years ago when I came to BC. Our Victoria Seventh-day Adventist Church planned to go to the Rostrevor Beach for an outdoor church, and she asked me if I could give her a ride. Our friendship started right then and there. We were instantly friends. Even though she was about 25 years older than me, and in many ways she was like a mother to me. My mom did pass away around that time that I got to know her, also called Annie. And I was more like her daughter. We were very close friends. We had many things in common. We did many things together, like visits to Butchert Gardens, the Splash Boat Hall, You will hear that restaurant a few times. Chinese New Year we celebrated. And of course, potlucks. Anyone who knows Anne, and it's been mentioned before, she loves food. She could eat a full plate easily. Slowly, but surely. I think Hot Talk will soon go out of business, because if she wasn't eating there, she would order the food and have it delivered at home. So I'm wondering how that restaurant is working out. We also went on several holidays together. We did an Alaska cruise together, and we had a wonderful time. Holland American Line. Yes, there is a Dutch-Chinese connection there. We spent a few days driving to Mount St. Helens, and she invited me to Mexico. And we spent the time there with her son Michael, and his family, wife Gail, children Kai and Talia, and it was fun. Got to know her very well, and Mike's family too. Anne was a sociable person. She loved her family and she loved her friends. She lovingly talked about her son Michael and her daughter Susan. I'm very grateful how Michael and Susan welcomed me into their families. Anne's children took such good care of her. At the age of 19, she sold her home and moved in with her children, first Michael, then Susan. And for the past 5 years, she lived with them. Anne was blessed with 6 grandchildren, Kai, Talia, Gabrielle, Savita, Isaac, and Sophia. Wonderful grandchildren. She talked so fondly about you. And I'm going to just spotlight the 2 oldest. Kai, Michael's eldest, he visited his grandma often. In the hospital, at her home, wherever. He took her out for lunch, maybe dinner as well. I just know the food connection was there. And Gabrielle, Susan's oldest. Just want to say that during the last week, or one of the last few weeks of her life, when there was the Oshkosh Pathfinders Camporee, and Gabrielle was home with her, she took care of her. She prepared 3 meals a day for her with a smile. That was very, very much appreciated by Anne, and again, the food connection. Anne had many other friends and family. In the end, Adrian was her sister who called her almost every day. Incredible, there was such a close connection. Rita, her sister-in-law, and Rita is also Dutch, so another connection that I understood. I could speak Dutch with her. Her walking club friends, for years and years she was in a walking club in Hillside Mall. Her elder care friends, where she would win little pieces of chocolate if she was winning whatever the game was, and she was very happy to tell me about those things. Ruth Estevez. Ruth was very, very kind to her in many, many different ways. During the time she was there at Susan's place. Then many, many church friends. We know that, of course, by culture, she's very much loved to be with her Chinese friends for Chinese New Year. And we were privileged. A group of 15 of friends celebrated Anne's birthday, her 95th birthday in July in Villa Erie. It was wonderful to do that. She only ate half her plate. In the end, she was not eating as much as before. 2 days before Anne passed away, Kelly mentioned to me that Anne was not eating very much and she was more quiet, more quickly tired. Because of that message, I went to visit her right away, and I brought her some Chinese congee. We had eaten that the night before, and there was congee left with yao chai kwai. Anybody knows yao chai kwai? Only the Chinese donuts that are 2 together, and they have to go with the congee, either in it or separate. She greeted me with a big smile. She had her caregiver there. We went to the kitchen, warmed up the congee. She ate a little bit. I had to remind her, take a little more. Well, that wasn't them. She was getting more tired. She didn't eat very much. It was the last time I visited with her, so Kelly, I'm very grateful that you mentioned that to me. How do I remember Anne? Her smile. Whenever I was with her, her smile greeted me. Her laughter, especially the phone calls, her laughter was contagious. Her love of food, of course. That's Anne. Do you know what kind of diet she had when she was in Souk and she thought she was eating too much pie? She had apple trees and pear trees, whatever. She made lots of apple pies. She felt that she was getting a little bit overweight. Well, her diet, according to her, it really worked very well. Is peanut butter and watermelon. She still likes watermelon a lot. Her saying, don't even go there. If something isn't really nice or you're upset about something, she always says, don't even go there. Leave it alone. Think about something positive. Think about something good. Her talents as a cook. Hear about the violin. She played violin. She played piano. She was a police, a nurse, an accountant. And in her earlier years, she taught Clarissa Morrison in the Cradle Kindergarten Sabbath School classes. Her faith, her deep faith in God. Her friendship. I'm so grateful that I was her friend for about 20 years. Our trips together, our get-togethers, we found many reasons to get together. Food was a good reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, anything was a good reason to get together. Yes, our get-togethers were many and very much appreciated. One day when Jesus returns, I will meet Anne again when we get together. On our way to heaven. A trip to heaven that we hear is several days long. And we're all looking forward to that. Rest in peace, Anne. I miss you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate seeing everyone here to celebrate the life that she lived. We'd like all of us together to sing with us Amazing Grace. If you need the lyrics, you can find it in the hymnals on page 108. know that she loved being with people and she loved just coming together and fellowshipping. So I know that she would have loved having everyone sing together for her. Thank you.
Susan mentioned that there were some stories that she could share later. So if you want to hear those stories, stay and join us for some snacks in the room next door, reaching the end of our celebration of life. But our memory will last, and that's what's important. I invite you to bow your heads as we pray. Gracious Father, we thank you once again for the life of Van Banner, and we thank you for the opportunity that we have to share that life, to be part of it. Be with us, Lord. Help us in our journey so that one day we can join her up in heaven, and just go together, crossing the pearly gates and entering into your kingdom. We thank you, Father, for your amazing love for each one of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.